welcome back. This is my first video on this little Durk situation. You know, I ain't really been that invested, but I have been seeing a little stuff about it, you know, in my own time, but I ain't really took the time to actually sit down and react to a video about it. So you know what? We're gonna go ahead and tap in my boy, you feel me, 1090 Jake, whatever. See what he got to say. We're gonna go ahead and get into this little Durk situation. So, like always, man, love all.
Things just went from bad to worse in the Lil Durk case after the feds are apparently, they're gonna hit Durk with new charges. And these aren't just like small incidents.
Yeah, so for those of y'all that don't know, I'm pretty sure y'all should know. I think Durk in jail right now on some murder for hire charges. He facing life or maybe the death penalty, something like that. That's what he is facing right now, you know, for a couple of deaths or allegedly for stuff that he had going on. So
we're talking about murder and attempted murder. Quick pause, because this might actually use a look in the case. It's from finances. Now the home 2 and 2 will post to IG saying the feds are looking to add 2 charges from 2022 and 2019 to Lil Durk's case. And this is years ago.
Look at this man right here. Look at Crip Mac. Oh, hold on, I got it. Hold on, I'm muted.
It's suicide. We're gonna like that comment right there. By now, y'all are familiar with how the feds work. The feds can take anything you've ever done and turn it into a whole nother situation. That's kind of what they do with Rico, right? We saw in the Young Thug case a whole bunch of different crimes that people already went to prison.
Oh yeah, it's completely off topic, but you know, I am moving in a minute and I got a new background coming, you know. It's gonna be way more stuff in the background I'm recording. I'm gonna get some of these black things y'all see on his, I don't know what they call, but I know where to get them. I'm gonna get a lot of stuff, you feel me? So it can be a little more, you know, attention grabbing and more comfortable for me too.
They got re-indicted under a RICO and hit with all those crimes that they already did. This is the same type of game the feds play. Now, I believe All Hip Hop was the first to break this news, so shout out to them. And it would state Lil Durk's case could expand after prosecutors signal they may add older Chicago and Atlanta incidents before trial.
I be trying to tell people, bro, the feds they play by a different type of rule, a different set of rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, you into it with the feds, man. It's like, man, you going to jail. You doing some time. They not just letting you go. That's not how I work with the feds. Nah, you doing something. That's what I'm saying, but I got to stay out the way, man. Start doing the illegal stuff, you feel me? When the feds come knocking, it's something way more than just a petty crime. Or when it's the feds, man, it's way, 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 way more serious. You feel me? Like, it ain't like no regular. Like, you feel me? That's like the big dog. I gotta stay out the way.
The possible expansion surfaced in a May 21st court filing from DeAndre Wilson, one of Durk's co-defendants. Wilson is asking a federal judge to reconsider his detention and let him out on bond while the case moves forward. Wilson's filing says prosecutors informed defense lawyers on May 13th that they are considering supplemental charges by June 3rd. The new charges would add 2 older alleged incidents as direct evidence, a 2022 Chicago incident and a 2019 Atlanta incident. That could create a major timing problem for all of the co-defendants because it'll knock the case off its current August 20th, 2026 trial date, requiring new arraignments, more discovery, additional motions, and more investigation. Wilson's lawyer says the 2 incidents do not involve him, and that is the core of his freedom bid. He argues he should not remain jailed for months while lawyers prepare for events where prosecutors do not even place him at the scene. So basically, one of the co-defendants was told, look, we're thinking about hitting Durk with new shit. And he's like, what the fuck does that have to do with me? I wasn't there for that shit. I'm not getting charged with that shit. Let me out. Let me go on bond. Now, the Atlanta incident appears to trace back to January 2019, in which there was a shooting near the Varsity restaurant in downtown Atlanta. That Durk, whose legal name is Durk Banks, had faced felony charges in that case before the Fulton County DA dropped them in 2022. Those charges included criminal attempt to commit murder, aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The victim was shot in the leg after an argument near the restaurant. Now, obviously, if you're a fan of Durk or a fan of Vaughn, you remember this exact incident.
Yeah, I remember.
Because if you remember, this is when Durk and Vaughn allegedly robbed and shot somebody.
Case against a rapper accused in a shooting outside of the Varsity will move forward. Today, Little Durk appeared in court where a judge ruled there was enough evidence for him to go to trial. Channel 2's anchor Lori Wilson is live near where the shooting happened, near the Varsity, and Lori, police say they have video evidence in this case.
Javita, APD says they used at least 5 cameras from local businesses, including this BP, as well as from the Varsity across the street in order to build their case against Lil Durk and his co-defendant. On Friday, detectives from Atlanta and Chicago testified in the criminal case against rapper Lil Durk in Fulton County Court. They say around 5 in the morning on February 5th, Lil Durk, whose real name is Durk Derek Banks, and his co-defendant Devontae Bennett were seen on camera involved in shooting Alexander Witherspoon, a person police say they knew.
They were hanging out. They went to a studio to make music.
The rapper and Bennett listened to the evidence against them in court. Police told the judge later that night the victim, Banks, Bennett, and others went to a nightclub, a gas station, and ended up in the parking lot of the Varsity. That's when Witherspoon said he was robbed and shot.
He said his chain was snatched off his neck, and he had $30,000 stolen from him, and they stole the vehicle he was driving.
Police say Banks was seen on tape shooting a gun.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim, towards the victim.
Banks' attorney says this is a celebrity witch hunt.
Were it not for the celebrity status of these 2 individuals, then this would be an aggravated assault.
Banks released a single, "Turn Myself In," the day he turned himself in. It's gotten almost 7 million views. The prosecutor charging this wasn't just a robbery and shooting, but gang activity. She put a Chicago detective on the stand to testify that Banks and Bennett are members of Chicago gangs.
Is it possible to continue your affiliation and even commit crimes when you move out of Chicago if you're in a different city or if a different area?
Yes, ma'am.
Vaughn ended up dying before the case was resolved, and Durk ended up beating the case. And a lot of people try to say, oh, Durk must have threw Vaughn under the bus, whatever. But then I believe the DA came out and said if Vaughn was still alive, we would have charged him with this shooting. And I mean, if we just go and watch Trap Lord Ross's masterpiece documentary on King Vaughn being a serial killer, we know he's trigger happy. So it's no surprise that Vaughn most likely popped dude in Atlanta. And from what I heard, that wasn't the only person he shot in Atlanta. But this is serious because if the feds are trying to use this against Durk, this is an attempted murder case. A dismissal motion from 2022 said prosecutors reviewed the facts and chose not to prosecute, even though probable cause had existed for Durk's arrest. Durk's lawyer said for some reason they decided that Mr. Banks was involved since some of the people he affiliated were involved in the shooting. We strongly deny that. Now, the Chicago incident from January of 2022 was the killing of Stephon Mack outside of Roseland Community Center. Back in 2024, unsealed court records claimed Durk was behind the fatal shooting, but Durk has not been charged in that killing. That is the tension in Wilson's new filing. His lawyers say prosecutors want to use the Chicago and Atlanta incidents as direct evidence in the federal case, even though both predate the Los Angeles attempted assassination of Quando Rondo, in which they killed Lil Pab. Now, everywhere on Reddit would they be breaking down this murder. If Durk beats his case with stopping the feds from charging him with Stephon Mack, well, Cup Crafty, I'm pretty sure you just put this into motion. But the shooting of Stephon Mack was when this guy, Elmer, fudded his way across the parking lot with a rifle, and this guy shot a pistol, and I guess this kid was the one with the pistol. They basically gunned dude down and then tried to say Durk was the one that paid for the hit, that sent the bag. The bag apparently.
I just really cannot wrap my head around this, bro. Like, why do y'all choose to do this? It's like, bro, y'all be getting a blessing of a lifetime. Y'all came from the slums, came from the gutter, never had nothing. And y'all get introduced to millions of dollars, land, houses, different country travels, different states, all this the good stuff. You feel me? Cars, clothes, y'all, jewelry. Y'all get introduced to all this and y'all still want to live this lifestyle. why do y'all want to do this so bad? Why? Why are you out here paying to have somebody killed or somebody shot, bro? You feel me? At this point, bro, when y'all rappers get famous and stuff, why not rap about the stuff you currently doing? Stop rapping about being in the streets. You're not in the streets no more, bro. Rap about how you just purchased 1,000 acres of land and built the whole mall on it. Rap about how you just, you feel me, put your mom in another house. Rap about how you just, you feel me, moved to Alaska and built the whole community in your name. Like, why not do stuff like that? Why y'all still want to rap about stuff like and do stuff like this? Why? It's just a waste. Y'all get all this money and all this luxury, y'all throw it in the trash. He wouldn't even be in the situation if he allegedly didn't put a hit out on somebody. One of his alleged enemies, you know, that's why he in there for murder for hire. So he wouldn't even be in the situation right now. Situation before. Why are you getting into shootouts or trying to rob somebody when y'all rich, bro? It don't even make sense. It don't make sense to me. It don't. Robbing people, placing hits on people. Like, come on, bro. All right. Man.
He never reached them. He never actually paid. But they were alleging Durk was the one behind this situation. And the feds would want to bring this up because it's another example of Durk allegedly paying for hits. Now, we could take this either way. We could take this as the feds are doubling down to secure a conviction and showing that he's been involved in multiple situations that share the same similarities, or we could view this as a desperate attempt by the feds to bring something else in to halt everything because they're not ready to go to trial. Durk got the best lawyer he can have. The feds want more time. So they add on this little bullshit. Now all of a sudden they got to do new arraignments, new witnesses, new this, new that, and everything gets delayed. And things can be delayed by years.
Yep.
Not everything in the feds is that quick. And if it's the prosecutors asking for more time, that tells you something. Because normally, from what we understand, is the feds don't indict unless they have you. And if they have you, they have all the evidence they need.
Right.
They don't need to take their sweet ass time. This shit'll get done in 4 months. But the fact that this is the play the feds are putting in motion may or may not be a good thing for Durk. So unless the feds magically found...
I don't know, they doubling down on it. They ain't looking too good for this man. 2 extra charges? Now they finna delay his case to probably August of next year. They finna delay it a whole nother year, watch. Or December of this year or something, but it ain't about to be no time soon. That is crazy. He ain't lying about what he's saying, though. They doubling down. You feel me? They could be using this because, like I say, he not lying about when they say when the feds got you, they got you. They normally got all the evidence on you. You feel me? They got you. So for them to do this, they could be trying to give themselves some more time. They could be. Or they could be using this to be like, look, we don't care what lawyer you got. We don't care what connections you got. We're going to throw these extra charges on you, get the case delayed maybe, or if not, we're going to make sure that you get convicted. Make sure. This is going to ensure that you're going to get convicted. You're not beating this. We're going to make sure that we don't want you back on the streets. We want you to lose this case. That's how they keep trying to look at it.
New evidence of him being the shooter in the Atlanta case. I don't see how they could convict him for that, right? He wasn't found guilty. The charges were dropped, which means he could always be hit with new charges, but they would need new evidence. And the co-defendant in that case, Vaughn, is dead. So I don't see how that would even play a role. Now, as far as the murder in Chicago, yeah, if those dudes are fully cooperating and blaming Durk, okay, that's one thing. But are the feds actually able to prove it beyond just their words? Because clearly they're going to try to save themselves. Are the feds able to prove he did any of this shit? Again, they're just putting themselves in another position. Same shit with the Quando Rondo thing. Okay, everything leads back to Durk, but can we prove it actually happened?
True.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what to think. Apparently, if this is gonna happen, it's gonna happen on June 3rd. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all.
Yeah, man. It ain't really looking too good for Durkio, man. You know. I know you in there keeping his head high, man. You know, but it's like, I gotta understand something, bro. Y'all always talking about free people and this and that and there. These be known killers who be saying, y'all be saying free. You feel me? Known killers, known maniacs, known, you You feel me? Like, and these people who in this type of stuff, they know what they getting themselves into. Now, if he innocent here, free him. You feel me? But if he has something to do with any of this, nah, bro. It ain't no. That's not how it worked. That's the hand he was dealt. They partake in these activities. These the consequences. So at that point, with that being said, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video, man. You know, I'm just being honest, just keeping it real, my perspective. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and watch all my other videos. Like always, love all.